Hey gun people, gonna do one on, shit, I just looked at it and forgot it. First I gotta yell out to KV. Yo KV, what's up? He asked for a yell out. I told him I didn't want to encourage other people, but I would do it. Oh, witness protection. People wanted me to discuss witness protection. So I want to talk a little bit about witness protection. Witness protection is a broad-based thing. If you go into federal witness protection, forgot the name of the computer or something to look them up. WIP or something. Maybe it's witness protection. I don't know. But anyway, federal witness protection is where they change your name, they relocate you, they give you a new identity because you testified against usually your co-conspirators and other criminals. Every once in a while an innocent person will get witness protection, but not too often. Most people that get witness protection are crooks. So from a local standpoint, witness protection has cops. The DA's office is the one that ran the witness protection, and we had a witness protection team, which I was on, and we would provide transport and coverage for witness protection. So if we had a high-profile case, it was normally either gang involved, mafia, or something that we really thought the person was at risk, we would use our witness protection budget to put them in witness protection. And it wasn't like the feds to where we change your name and do all that. Basically, we would hide them. We would go get a hotel room in another city, adjoining, a couple of things away. We'd rent that hotel room under our name or as a cop or under a false name. Cops are allowed to have second ID, so criminals don't know who we are. If we're working undercover, your agency can give you a letter and you can go to the DMV and say, hey, I need a driver's license under the name of Billy Bob Jones. And I want my picture on it and I want this address setter. So you fill out the form, they issue you this ID. So this is your alternate ID to use when you're out doing undercover work so nobody knows who you are. So we wouldn't go that far for our witness protection people, but we would use that ID or something if we wanted to rent a hotel in a name that nobody knew. So we would rent the hotel, we would search the room, ask for a specific room, on the corner or in the middle, depending on how it was laid out, which way facing traffic. Make it easy for us to secure it. And in our witness protection team, we'd have 2 people with the person at all times. So 24 hours a day, we do 12-hour shifts, 2 people would be in a hotel. So one could take a leak and one could be watching and keep an eye on the witness. So we would keep them hidden there until they were in court. Now obviously if we have somebody in witness protection and we're tying up all these cops, the courts are going to understand that we need to get this case to trial. Now here's the part that I didn't like about witness protection. It's a scam. It's a total scam to the person who's being protected because they think they're helping the government's protecting them, the government cares about them, the government's going to feed them, they're going to give them a nice hotel room. You got to realize some of these witnesses were gangbanging thugs who never stayed in a nice hotel room. So they're living a good life while we're protecting them until they go to court. And then as soon as they give their testimony, King's X, see you later, adios, you're on your own. And I just thought that was so chicken shit and wrong. But that's the way it was. Once you testify and your statement is on the record, on court record, and you testify, the government doesn't care if you get killed because they got your testimony they wanted. So if you get killed, it actually makes it easier because now we can read in your prior testimony without the ability of the defense to question you, which is why once we get you on a stand, we get the defense to say, ask your questions, this is it. This is your only bite at the apple because after this, we're releasing this witness. And they may run, they may flee, and they may get killed. But either way, this is your only shot at them. So, when we did witness protection, we only protected the witness until they testified. After that, you're screwed. So if you ever get in a situation where you're in witness protection, you need to realize either that's going to happen or have some sort of contract that that's not going to happen. Now, the government may go, well, we're going to still look after you, and if you call, we're going to give you special treatment, and we're going to send an officer by your house, keep an eye on you, and we've notified the PD on where you live, so they're going to watch out for you, and none of that shit freaking happens. I mean, it used to just kill me. People would call in the police department. I'm going on vacation, and I'm going to be gone from this time to this time, and I'd like extra patrol. And they go click, 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 and they go, okay, thanks a lot. All right, no problem. We'll send officers by your house and check on your house while you're gone. Are you kidding me? People believe that shit. So what happens is that gets put at roll call next briefing. The one briefing doesn't happen every night till they come back. One briefing when they're going through, so-and-so got robbed, so-and-so got this, we got a burglary in this area, we got a suspect description of this, we got a stolen car. oh yeah, Billy Bob went on vacation, he needs extra patrol on this house, and blah, blah, blah. And that's it. So how many times do you think a cop goes, oh man, I got all this shit to do, but Billy Bob's on vacation? Let me write that down so I can drive by his house 4 or 5 times to keep his house safe. Sorry, people. Rick, I'm telling you, 99% of the time that shit don't matter. If you're in a small area and you only have a couple of cops and they have nothing else better to do and it's small enough to where they can drive by it anyway, then you may get extra protection from a cop who, you know, there's only 4 or 5 cops, so everybody knows it's a small community. But when you get over 10, 20 cops and you got a large area, nobody gives a shit if you're on vacation. Quit tying up dispatch and calling them, telling them you're going to be on vacation. Nobody cares. Hell, probably somebody at dispatch is telling their cousin who's freaking got out of prison, yo man, Billy Bob's on vacation for 2 weeks. Don't be calling the PD and telling them that shit. That's stupid. But, I mean, we got calls like that all the time. At some agencies. At other agencies we're busy, nobody bothered because they knew it wasn't shit. And they were smart enough, street smart, we're not going to let anybody know that we're out of town. So, witness protection is a great deal for the short term, but once you're testifying, your testimony is what's called memorialized. It's on the record, it's there forever. We don't need you anymore. So you're on your own. Now, federal witness protection, if you're giving up a big guy, they got money, federal government, they don't care, they do all kind of shit, you know, because they're the federal government and they're just take more money from other people or states or whatever, they don't care. So they will go farther and go into relocating you, getting you a house, getting you started. You have to sign a contract that if you blow your cover, if you use your own name, if you contact anybody that will blow your cover, that leads to your cover blowing, we ain't helping you again. So what do crooks do? They go out there, they blow their cover, they get caught in their drugs, they get in the same thing, and then when they get the cover blown because they trust somebody and tell them, then all of a sudden they're asking for witness protection again. They go, hey, you signed this contract, and he goes, well, but I've been doing dope with this guy, so I'll give you this guy if you put me back in it. Okay. As long as it's a federal beef and the feds can get a warrant and that's something they're interested in, you know, then you may get witness protection again. Otherwise, witness protection, I mean, when somebody said, can you explain witness protection? I'm not sure what you want. I mean, basically they just go into the computer system, they change your fingerprints to match this new ID, they change your name, your address, they create a fake credit history, they create a fake work history with addresses, and all these things are kind of flagged and tagged, so if somebody starts checking on these, it sends up a flag. Why are they checking on this when we know it's a phony business that we set up? And then they'll know that somebody's trying to find this person, or why are they doing a background? Kind of like a cop when they, if they run our ID and it comes up as a peace officer, they kind of stop that. Some states still do it. California, if you ran my plate when I was off duty, if you ran my plate, it would come back peace officer restricted, so it wouldn't give my address. In California, it's a misdemeanor to give out a peace officer's home address. It's also a misdemeanor to give out a politician's home address. So, of course, cops and government and politicians get protection. Your address and every other puke citizens that pay taxes, government don't care about you. They'll give out your address to anybody and everybody. Matter of fact, I think a lot of states, you can go to DMV and pay a fee and say, hey, this car hit me, I want to know who owns it to so I can sue them in court, and they'll give you all the information on the tag. So, witness protection, they're going to change your ID, they're going to map your fingerprints, they're going to take your other record, and pretty much you're going to be wiped off. So if anybody runs your old name, again, a flag's going to come up on the computer, this thing was run. What was it? When you get as a cop and you're running names and you have access to a computer and I can run guns and all this stuff, every once in a while there was some dumbass cop, usually a new cop, that wasn't smart enough to figure out that they were tracking that shit. They would get on there and run Tom Selleck, or I say his name because actually somebody did run him and it was a big deal. But you know, if you go out there and you start running Ronald Reagan, or you try to run a driver's license of Barack Obama or Hillary Clinton, all the politicians who are high up, their shit's flagged. So when a cop runs them, it sends up a signal to their people in their office, and they're like, hey, why did this person run this person on this day? And you have to justify it. Because the government owns the computer and the information. And you're okay to use it to violate regular citizens' rights all you want. But you ain't violating one of the protected few, the crooked politicians, so they're going to get flagged. So cops know you don't run people unless it better be legit. Now, if I pull over Hillary Clinton, I mean, I don't know if she drives herself, she's even capable to drive. Shit, 70 years old, she looks like she can barely walk down a flight of stairs. But anyway, if I pull her over and she happens to be driving, and I run her license and run her plate, they're going to get that flag. They're going to come back and say, why'd you run her? And they're going to say, hey, Gore ran her when he stopped her on a traffic stop, and he issued her a citation and told her she was a bitch. So there's legal ways to run people that you can't it's not illegal to run them if it's official. But you're going to have to prove when you run those guys. If I run you or anybody else in your family, I don't have to prove it. Unless you find out, you make a complaint, and then they're going to come back and say, what's case number? Most times when you run people, you connect some sort of case number. But, I mean, have a case number, I've already talked about that, or I haven't posted it yet. There's a video on how criminal investigations get started and how you run things. I was hoping this coffee would keep my hands still, because I had somebody saying, man, how do you talk? Your hands are always... I talk with my hands. So anyway, it's a cop thing. If I'm talking my hands are always up here in case you get too close. I can poke you in the eye or jab you in the throat or something if I got my hands in front of me. So it's a good barrier. So anyway, witness protection, that's how it works. You get it when the government needs you, and you lose it as soon as the government does not need you. And that's about the gist of it. All right, we'll end that there.